Welcome back to the Sooner Surge football edition here. Make sure you have clicked subscribe on your phone, device, whatever you're on. Be a part of this Sooner Surge community and family where we love to have conversation, communication with our viewers. You guys are doing a great job. Like, comment, keep it up. We are officially 10 days away.
Wow.
Tomorrow's single digits. We're Torrance Marshall days away, guys, for you kind of like my age. Maybe Jackson Arnold days away, right? Number 10. So we know that last night, yesterday, we had Jeff Lebby, Marcus Major, Andrew Raim, Savion Byrd, all spoke to the media. So let's get after on some thoughts that stood out to you guys.
Well, I'll just get it started off with Jeff Lebby speaking to the media. And Jeremy, you brought up where Jackson Arnold days away, and obviously, everyone wants to know about Jackson Arnold. Is he going to play? Well, whenever Jeff Lebby was asked about the development of Jackson Arnold, he said kind of with a smirk on his face whenever he's asked about how is he going to get ready for every single game, knowing he's probably isn't going to play a lot this year. Well, he said that he's paying very close attention to every single rep and detail he takes in practice. So I think that Jackson Arnold, we may honestly see him in a few packages this year. I'm not sure to what extent, and I think we've talked about this as a group before, but I think we all have sort of come to an agreement that Jackson Arnold will probably play in some way. And I think that with the way Arnold practices and prepares day in and day out shows that he's ahead of maybe what a freshman is expected to do. And I honestly think personally that the staff is probably really impressed with Arnold just with what he does through his progressions, through his day to day.
Hey, the thing is about Jackson Arnold, he's in there as a freshman, but he's got to know that the chances of Dylan Gabriel being healthy all year long and not having any injury even to come out of the game at all, I mean, it's just, it's going to be I think that's very difficult to just believe that. If you're the backup quarterback, you got to know that your chance could come like that. I mean, he could get the opportunity day one if Gabriel goes down. Hopefully not, but I'm just saying he's got to prepare that way, and that's what he's doing. He's preparing the right way. He's paying attention to details when he does get his chance. I mean, who knows when that is, guys? I mean, it could be any time, and even if it's not, the first 2 or 3 games he's going to get in the second half and make the best of his opportunity then. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he knows he's going to get a lot of PT early. And you're right, Jackson. I think there's definitely going to be a package for him, possibly. When will that package be unveiled, opened, if you will? I think the Red River rivalry could be one. I'm not saying I know anything like that, but what I'm saying is I think there's going to be a run package with him because he can also throw out of that, and he can maybe short yardage stuff. But we'll see. I'm definitely don't have any inside info on that. It's just something as someone following the program, I think that could be something they would do. Now, obviously, the health of Dillian Gabriel is of utmost importance here. And one of the big playing factors in that are guys like Andrew Raymond, Savion Byrd. So really what stood out in those player interviews, guys?
Well, I mean, Savion Byrd, his interview was probably the best interview from one of the players that I've heard all year long. I mean, the dude is he's funny, he's kind of charismatic, and dude, I did not realize. Okay, I knew he was 305 now, which he told us today or last night. He said he weighed in at 305 yesterday. Okay, but I did not know that he was down to 265 or 270 at the beginning of summer strength conditioning. That's insane, guys. And they asked him. He said he said this a few times. He said the main thing is he's been more the consistency. He's got to be consistent with his diet and everything. And they asked him what he can eat, what he eats. He said whatever he wants, and he's eating whatever he wants. And he really called out Oreo pancakes. Did you hear that, Jackson?
Yep.
2 pancakes together with Oreos in the middle and the crumbs on top. That was like his go-to at some place. And I mean, he was laughing about it and stuff, but I think he even said something. He felt like he had an eating disorder because he's eating so much. It's like he's Hey, he's 305, and I heard this from 2 or 3 people that were interviewed last night. He's a dog and a mauler. He's mauling people.
Oh yeah.
He's a physical, big offensive lineman. He's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, and with Savion Bird, as you said, he was just able to eat lots of Oreo pancakes. And also, guys, I expect him to have a lot of pancakes this year as well. I mean, the dude is going to be mauling people. And I think that just with his Jonah Laulu also said in his interview with the media that Savion Bird with the aggressiveness and nastiness he plays with is what stands out and the most scary thing whenever you play against him, because the dude is not afraid to get his hands on you and drive you into the dirt through the whistle. That's how he's gonna play. He's nasty. He's physical, and I've said this, that Bill Bedenbaugh, he loves those kind of players, and I also think that Savion Bird said something about Bill Bedenbaugh is a man that's going to live in your nightmares or something along those lines.
Well, yeah, and you know what?
It's just that Bill Bedenbaugh's been coaching him hard this offseason, and you can tell that this is an Oklahoma offensive line that I expect to have a spectacular year.
Yeah, and you mentioned Lulu about when you get your hands on you. He mentioned it. So did Andrew Rain. Andrew Rain said, if he gets your hands on you, you better start praying to the gods. I mean, it's over. I mean, he's that. If he gets his hands on you, he's going to be a huge difference maker in that position. And Andrew Rain, that this is multiple times on multiple interviews from multiple offensive linemen that have said this offensive line unit has a chance to be great. Now, he didn't say they are great. He said they have a chance to be extremely good. And they just seem really confident right now. He said Andrew Rain said they're very tight, way more tighter than last year as a group. Even mentioned 10 to 15 guys. They're a tight-knit group. You can tell each other that you're doing something wrong, and you can get over it. And it's just, they're very tight. He said, and if anybody that knows anything about offensive linemen, to have a good 5 people on that offensive line, you have to be tight. You got to know what everybody's doing. It's hard to do it if you're shuffling guys in and out.
Yeah, and look, Savion Bird, I mean, pun intended here, we all got a little taste of Savion Bird in the bowl game last year and about the physicality, right? He was different. And you got to have 1 or 2 guys like that on the line. Andrew Rain doesn't come across as that type of guy. He's more of the cerebral, the center that's really pointing out blitz packages. But you also got to have those Savion Birds. And to me, all that happened earlier in the year when, it was mentioned that Savion was not mentioned in the starting 5, only 4 were mentioned. Look, we said it then, we'll say it again. It was to light a little bit of a fire into this dude, because they know when a fire is lit under Savion Bird, you're not putting it out anytime soon. So to me, everything's going in the right direction with the offensive line, guys. Great news. They're all preaching the same message. And then you also heard from Marcus Major, a guy who's going to be running behind that offensive line, a guy who a lot of people probably didn't expect to maybe be running behind that line very much, has in the last few weeks worked his way into a lot of conversation, and it's very interesting.
Well, Major's a great running back. Let's just say what it is. He's a very talented guy, and he even said it today. His thing, they asked him, what can he do better this year? Being available. He's got to be available. He's got to stay healthy. He mentioned it a few times how he's really focusing on the training room. He's using all those to his abilities, all those tools they have there at OU to kind of recover. And he's really focusing on his body. And he says he feels good. And I think what I love, and Jeremy, I know me and you had our differences last year on Major. And I think it was because you were pushing so hard for him. And I was a big Gray guy. I mean, Gray was a pro. I mean, Gray was really good. And we just kind of went back and forth a little bit on Major and Gray. But Marcus Major, what he's done at OU as far as stuck around, okay? This guy could have left this last year if he wanted to, went somewhere else and been a starting running back. Okay? He didn't. He's He's in there. He's fighting. He's battling for a role, battling for a position at running back, but he's also mentoring Barnes, mentoring Sawchuk, making a difference in those guys. And you got that competitive depth with those three, and then you throw in the freshman Caleb Hicks, you throw in Tolly Walker. It's a great running back room, man. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just think with Marcus Major, as he said, he's just been having fun this year. He's been enjoying the guys. He obviously knows there's a lot of talent in the room in which he said. So it's that with Marcus Major, it's good to hear. It's refreshing for me to hear that he's having fun, okay? Because this is a dude, Jason, that you pointed out. He could have transferred out. And I was honestly shocked kind of maybe he didn't decide to at least consider that route. Because he could have easily been like, yeah, there's Javante Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk in front of me, and they got carries ahead of me last year at points in the season. And, you know, my time at Oklahoma hasn't just come. He could have easily just taken the easy way out like a lot of players do and leave, but he decided to stay, embrace the grind, embrace the Brent Venables culture, really form himself into this leader. And I think that if I don't know how many times we've had to say if about Marcus Major, it's been 100 times, but if he can stay healthy, he will be on the field contributing in a way this year. And I would not be shocked if he is healthy, if there is a 3 deep consistent running back rotation all year long, in which when it gets to the fourth quarter of every game where they're just feeding the hot hand in that running back room.
Hey, and we all know Venables, not personally, but we know kind of what he's about. You're exactly right, both of you. What Jason brought up here, listen, this is the good news of the NIL, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that this is anything to do with Marcus Major, but a guy like Major can stick around, maybe receive, some NIL things and not bolt because he sees value in what he's doing. And the mentoring part, and Brent Venables will reward Marcus Major. I promise you, Marcus Major is going to get on the field. And it's not just going to be in mop-up duty, I don't think. And guys, we've said it before. He's a specimen. The guy, just go back to last year when he made the cut on a dime when they were struggling offensively, I think against Kent State, and just took one to the house. The guy is uber talented, and he deserves so much, I think. And it's great to hear that he's healthy, that he's taking care of his body, that he's doing the right things, because he could go down really as just one of the great, as far as legacy guys, sticking it out, really be an example.
Yep. And I also think that there's one more thing to me that Marcus Major that was talked about him. And it was actually a quote from Jeff Levy. And he said he's had 14 good practices. We haven't heard that from one player about Jeff Levy. Now, I don't know if maybe that's considered just that coming to his mind at the moment, or if it's sunshine pumping or what. But I don't think it is. And I truly do think that Marcus Major's had a great camp. And I think that he truly this next year is going to step into a role in which we see him stay healthy and play as a big factor for Oklahoma this season, and not only on the field but off the field as well. I think we'll be hearing a lot of great things about Marcus Major.
For sure, yeah. And guys, we just talked about being rewarded for what you've done well. Right now, you can be rewarded. Click the subscribe button. You'll be inundated with content of all kinds of Sooner sports. You will be on your stream every day, multiple videos of football and other things that are happening. Again, we're going to have College Game Day lives on Friday before games. We're going to have post-game YouTube lives where you can have interaction with us about play calls and all sorts of stuff that all kinds of Sooner fans always want to talk about, because we want to talk about them too, because we're Sooner fans just like you. Okay? All free, all your way. Make sure you subscribe. Till next time, guys. Boomer.
Boom.